On Monday Night Raw, Jimmy Uso and Naomi announced that they are expecting a child. That's right, people. Baby Uso is on the way. And as I predicted before, that baby's going to main event WrestleMania 79, 80, and 81, okay, on night 3. Clock it. It's going to happen. But all jokes aside, guys, I just want to say congratulations to them. I'm happy for them. And I'm just praying that Naomi has a healthy pregnancy and that the baby comes out healthy. But all of that aside, we saw what happened after that. Naomi relinquished her Women's World Championship because of her pregnancy. So now the question becomes this. What do they do next with the title? What are the plans for the future? I think I got a couple of ideas, and before we get into it, as usual, if you are new to the channel, if you love pro wrestling, if you love to have fun, hit the like and subscribe button. I'm pretty sure you'll like it around here. Let's get into it. So before we get into the options of what I think they should do, we got to lay the foundation first, okay? Because we know what happened with Stephanie Vacker at Evolution 2. She won the Women's Battle Royal to make her the #1 contender for Naomi's championship, and they were supposed to have their match at Clash at Paris. But as I said before, Naomi relinquished the title. So Stephanie Vacker at this point, she doesn't have an opponent. So we have to give her an opponent at Clash at Paris. Think about this. We saw that Finn Balor last week when he was in the clubhouse. He said something to the effect of, hey, do you know you heard what happened with Naomi? What do we do with the Women's World Championship? And this is going to play into all of this in a sense, right? That was kind of a hint. So we're going to get a match next week on Raw between Rhea Ripley and Roxanne Perez. Now, I don't know why this match is happening. It just got announced. But what they should do is they should have Adam Pearce come out and announce the fact that this will be a #1 contender match. To whoever wins this match will face Stephanie at Clash at Paris. Now, there's 2 ways they can do this, obviously. But the first way is the way that I hope they actually do. I would love it, bro. I would love it if they do it this way. Have Roxanne Perez beat Rhea Ripley and have her beat Stephanie Vacker at Clash at Paris. Now, I know you question it. I know you're wondering how this is going to make sense. Let me explain this to you real quick, okay? We saw last week on Monday Night Raw, we saw Finn Balor basically say in the clubhouse, did you hear the situation with Naomi? What do we do about the Women's World Championship? I think that was a hint. And in this match that we get next week on Monday, we can have this whole situation where Roxanne Perez wins this. Because remember what happened on Raw. We had a whole argument backstage between Rhea Ripley and Asuka. Now, I don't know what 80% of what Asuka said. I don't need to. All I need to know at the end of the day is by her vibe and her energy, she meant every word of it, and somebody about to get hurt, okay? So this beef is not about to end anytime soon. And because it looks like they're going to book the Kabuki Warriors versus Rhea Ripley and Io Sky in a tag team feud, this will move into that direction. So what can happen in this match with Rhea and Roxanne, Asuka can get involved and cost Rhea Ripley this whole situation here. And then that can spin off into their Kabuki Warriors versus Io and Rhea feud, where Io has to pick a side. Kyrie's kind of back and forth. They can do their whole thing. I'm not going to get into that. But then the next round, when she goes up against Stephanie Vacker at Clash at Paris, remember, she got Raquel Rodriguez. So maybe Raquel Rodriguez could do the Judgment Day thing and get involved in the whole situation and allow Roxanne Perez to win. Stephanie Vacker can still look good in this match, but the reason why this will be great for Roxanne is because I think she's ready. I think she has the personality, the charisma, the in-ring ability, but also for storyline purposes. Imagine if Liv Morgan comes back and sees Roxanne Perez with that title. Remember, what if Raquel Rodriguez has to keep helping Roxanne Perez because that's what Finn Balor advised her to do, to help Roxanne retain the title over and over. Now, in the beginning, Raquel can just be reluctant. Like, I don't want to help her. She's not Liv Morgan. This is doing Liv Morgan wrong. But as time goes on, her and Roxanne could get closer and closer and get a closer bond. And then when Liv Morgan returns and see the both of them like, yo, why is my best friending with somebody else that I don't like? That can turn into a whole different situation, a whole different storyline, in my personal opinion. And you're building up a new star on the main roster as opposed to cycling the same people over and over with that belt. Now, the alternative route they can do is a route that people probably don't want to see, but I can understand why they would do this, is they can have Rhea Ripley win the championship. I know, don't fight me. I get it. The thing is, with Rhea Ripley, if she wins that title, she's a safe bet. You know, she's one of the biggest stars in WWE. She hasn't had a bad match like in a long time. And if they want to give it to her for her to hold it until the next person wins it, I wouldn't recommend that. I know a lot of people wouldn't like it, but if they want to do it as a safe bet until they build the next person up, I can see why they go that route. But personally, I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend it, but if they go that route, it is what it is. The next route they can go with this may seem kind of unfair to Stephanie Vacker, but they can probably postpone the match to Crown Jewel and then build a tournament to determine who will be her opponent at Crown Jewel. Now, if you notice in all of those situations, I didn't say Stephanie Vacker will win. You guys know I am a huge Stephanie Vacker fan. I'm a huge fan of her. I made a whole YouTube video, glazing her like a Krispy Kreme donut factory, like going crazy about her. But the thing is, I feel like if they put the Women's World Championship on her right now, it would do so much of a disservice to her. And this is the reason why. It has nothing to do with her talent, because I think she's talented. People disagree with me, but I really think she is. I think she has the presence, or as you guys like to call it, the aura. But the problem is that they did not build her up enough to this point for the fans to kind of, connect with her. She hasn't been on TV. So for her to just show up, win a championship, I feel like that is setting her up for failure. And the problem with that is a lot of people, when you just shoot them up to get the Women's World Championship and all of a sudden, it fails, a lot of the times people don't like that. They don't want to see this person with a championship again because they're not thinking about the champion. They're thinking about the experience they had with that person as a champion. So I think this will be so bad for her, because if she wins it and it fails, there's nowhere else to go but down from here. There isn't. I know it sounds crazy to say Roxanne Perez should win it, because a lot of people would assume, oh, well, people got to win the mid-card championship first and win the world title. I get that, but that hasn't always been the case. Bruno Sammartino didn't do that. Batista has never won a mid-card championship. And I think Roxanne is just ready. I think she's just ready. Stephanie Vacker, we don't know much about her. We really don't. Right? If you didn't really heavily watch her in CMLL, if you didn't watch her heavily in NXT, even then, you really don't know too much about her outside of the matches that she had, right? And I think, unfortunately, even though I don't care, because I watch a ton of wrestling where I don't understand their language, but I think the language barrier right now will be kind of hard for some of the, maybe the casuals to understand her. So I think the best thing to do right now is to build her up for that mid-card title and just get her ready for the main event, next time. Now, the whole match between her and Rhea Ripley, the only reason why I would recommend that, and I think that would be great, because that would be a great way to showcase Stephanie Vacker on the main roster against someone as big as a star as Rhea Ripley. And they already hinted at a feud between the two in this backstage segment. But outside of that, man, honestly, personally, for me, I would rather have Roxanne Perez win it. And my wild card would be, if it isn't Rhea Ripley, if it isn't Stephanie Vacker, sounds crazy, but the wild card could be Raquel Rodriguez. It could be. You never know. But anyway, who do you think should win in next? Let me know in the comment section. It's kind of hot in here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Salute. Peace. Have a great day.